Hey everyone, before we get into the video, remember, if you're looking to play any of these agents at the top level, over at SkillCapped.com, we have a bunch of agent-specific courses that are made by actual Radiant one-tricks. These are top 500 players that literally have thousands of hours on one agent alone, sharing everything they've learned with you. This is by far the fastest way to build Agent Master in Valorant, so if you're really looking to improve fast, be sure to check out SkillCapped.com. But for now, let's get into the video. We're now a few weeks into the third act, and we have a much clearer picture of what's going on in the meta, as well as a brand new patch to help bring Chamber down a notch. So in this video, we're going to be updating our tier list, talking about some of the things we got wrong last time, going through what we got right, and also letting you guys know where exactly Chamber fits now after his latest nerf. And to kick this video off, we're going to start by talking about the Sentinel role, since the only change to this patch was the Chamber. Chamber was nerfed this act, so now he can only have one trip instead of two, and the trip cost has now been increased to 200 credits. This nerf definitely affects Chamber. Losing a trip definitely hurts, but this change isn't really big enough to knock him out completely out of the meta, if you ask me. On attack, Chamber now needs to default more, and hold parts of the map himself since he can't really rely on his trips doing all of the work anymore. On defense, this also means that he's not as oppressive since you're no longer going to run into multiple trademarks while pushing onto a site. But as strong as this ability was, this wasn't really the reason why Chamber was a top tier pick. He's still able to play in aggressive positions thanks to his TP, his Headhunter will still one-shot headshot at any range, and his ultimate is still, insane. Because of this, Chamber's still going to be a strong pick, but we've moved him down from the S tier into the A tier for now. Chamber not being as powerful as he was also opens up room for some of the other Sentinels to see more play as well. Cypher, for example, is going to feel a lot more viable now. Previously, Chamber's kit was just so strong and he was able to fulfill the role that Cypher was supposed to fill. With one less trademark, there's now a reason why someone would want to pick him over Chamber. So we've decided to move Cypher up from the C tier and into the B tier. And before rounding off this section, I wanted to make sure I talked about Sage. Sage is a Sentinel that works a lot differently from the other Sentinels. This actually works in her favor since she doesn't really get overshadowed by agents like Chamber, and in some cases, they've even seen play together. Sage also has a very solid pick rate in pro play at just over 25% and is a staple pick on some maps like Icebox or Split. Because of that, we've also moved Sage up from the B tier into the A tier for this patch. The next role on the list is the Initiator role, and for the most part, we were pretty accurate in our predictions. Although Sova is weaker after the nerfs, besides maps like Split and Fracture, you pretty much still need one, and overall, he still has the highest pick rate out of any agent in pro play at a little over 65%. He's not able to consistently kill enemies from full HP using 2 shock darts anymore, but the chip damage is still very relevant. His drone is also still the best ability in the game for clearing sites, it just isn't able to clear as much area anymore. So we've left Sova in our S tier, as he's definitely been proving that he's still a top meta pick. The other Initiator I want to talk more about this patch is Fade. Unfortunately, as of writing this video, we haven't really had a chance to see her get picked in pro play. However, she's been seeing tons of pro play in solo queue. In Immortal lobbies, she's even the 4th most picked agent in the game right now, and has a pretty comfortable win rate. When used correctly, her kit can feel terrifying to play against. Her Seize, for example, makes you pretty much a free kill if you get hit by it, and her Haunt combos very well with her Prowler. Fade's ultimate also can just straight up win rounds, all on its own, especially when you combo it with her other utility. Overall, she seems to be performing better than we anticipated, and because of that, we've decided to move her up to the A tier. Other than that, there haven't been really that many other changes to the Initiator role, so let's move on to the controllers. When it comes to the controller class, there really hasn't been much to talk about. Overall, the agents in the role are all extremely well balanced right now, and are mostly just map specific. There hasn't been any real shift in the meta since we've last talked about them. Omen, Brimstone, and Viper are all similar in power level and fit nicely into the A tier, but their power levels are highly dependent on the map that they're picked on. Viper, for example, is an S tier pick on a map like Breeze, but feels a lot closer to a B tier or C tier pick on a map like Haven. Besides those three, Astra is still not in the best spot right now. She's not horrible, but she does sit in a level right below the other controllers. She brings a lot of very powerful tools, but the coordination necessary to make her work just isn't really worth it a lot of the time. Because of that, she's still sitting in the B tier for this patch. Not great, but not bad either. And rounding off this list, we need to get into the changes to the Duelists this patch. For starters, we need to give a formal apology to all the Jett mains out there. Last time we preemptively moved Jett down from the S tier into the A tier, but honestly, even after the nerf to how her dash works, she's still a top tier pick. She still has an over 60% pick rate in pro play after the nerfs, and she's also still the 2nd most picked agent in Immortal lobbies. Yes, it's a lot easier to catch her out now, but if a Jett plays smart, they can pretty much play exactly how they always have. Most of the time, you're going to know when you're about to get into a fight, and the nerf also ended up becoming a buff in some situations. Jett can now become empowered by pressing her E, get a kill, then dash away, and that kill will count towards the cooldown of her next dash. This means that when used correctly, Jetts are going to be able to dash multiple times per round more often because of the nerf. So this goes without saying, but Jett is definitely an S tier duelist, even though she may be less of a must pick as she used to be. The next duelist I want to talk about is Neon, who also received a few changes a patch ago that we might have underestimated. Although she's not a top tier pick just yet, we've had a chance to see a team like Optic show off what she can do when her kit is maximized. In the right hands, she can be very difficult to deal with, and in my opinion is a sleeper pick in the current meta. I would honestly keep an eye out because I think we're going to continue to see more Neons pop up as players get more practice with her. So for now, we're moving her up to the B tier this patch. And that's all for this tier list. Again, these lists are compiled using stats from pro matches as well as from Immortal and Radiant level lobbies so that we can make sure they're as accurate as possible. But if you happen to disagree with any of the placements on this list, feel free to let us know in the comments. Also, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That's all we got for our video today. But remember that if you're really looking to improve in Valorant, I highly recommend checking out SkillCapped.com. We get it. You're just a player trying to get better at the game. That's why you're watching this video in the first place. You're capable of hitting that rank that you deserve. But there's no shame in asking for a little help. At SkillCapped.com, we spend hours going through viewer-submitted replays to let you know all the mistakes that you're making. We also couple this with our smart commentaries to show players that it is possible to carry themselves out of whatever rank that they're stuck in. It might seem hopeless at times, but trust me when I say that we can help you all out. All you have to do is check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Finally, all of us here at SkillCapped want to give you a huge thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.